I hope he sees this. I hope he sees this. And I remember him looking, and I said, like, I'm going to leave. And he's like, oh, what are you leaving for? Like, what are you leaving to? Because he thought I was going to go to like another job, right? Because he knew I graduated and stuff. And I was like, oh, no, I'm just going to be renting I'm renting space out now, training. He's like, I don't think that's a good idea. And I said, why do you think that's not a good idea? He said, well, one, you're a woman, and two, you're barely starting.
Oh. He's definitely going to see this.
I hope he does.
Welcome back to the Passionate Paycheck Podcast. On today's episode, we have Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer, how's everything going?
Hi, how are you guys?
Good. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Of course.
And to get started, go ahead and let the audience know what you're currently working on.
My name is Jennifer Chung. I am a personal trainer, and I also own my fitness clothing line in town. It's been 10 years in training and about 4 years in the apparel line.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. And what drew you into fitness to start when you first began?
You know what? The year that I became a trainer, I graduated at CSUB with a crim law degree and a minor in sociology. And that year I actually was wanting to so I graduated in May or June of 2015, so exactly 10 years ago.
Ooh.
And then that summer, I wanted to compete on stage. And that kind of got me into the fitness world. And then I trained at Body Exchange. I was like, let me do this as a part-time job before I get my real job after summertime. So, yeah, I worked at Body Exchange, I think, for about 7 weeks, maybe 8 weeks. I don't know. I think it was less than 2 months though. And then I seen that there was such a good business market for it. And I just felt like being there, it didn't felt genuine or authentic being in that corporate field. So I ended up finding another private gym, and that's how I started my training. I actually was supposed to do it only for 3 months in the summertime, and I wrote a business plan during that summertime. My mom was pissed. My parents were pissed because I literally just went to college to get my degree, graduated, and didn't do anything with it. And they were a little worried because obviously in business world, you guys own your businesses yourself. Yeah, yes. It's so hit and miss. You don't know. Nothing is guaranteed.
Yeah.
You can have a great business one year, and then the next year it can go down.
Crumbles.
Yeah, and crumbles. That's actually weekly, though. That's not just month. That's month by month. That's week by week.
Exactly.
Not yearly, right? So my mom was like, I don't think that's a good idea because when you work for the county, right? That's what I was going to do. Yeah. Work for the county. It's a very stable job. You get benefits. You get a lot of other things, right? Mm-hmm. And with owning your own business, you don't get all those benefits. You don't get maternity leave. So she was very worried. But I wrote my business plan and I said, if I can't do this within 6 months to 8 months, I got my degree.
Right.
So that's the hardest part is getting the degree, right? So once I got the degree, if all else fails, then I would go back to it. We're almost in year 11. So I think everything has been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you always been a group trainer or have you always done one-on-ones first?
I started off with one-on-ones and doubles, like a buddy training, and then I think I was only doing singles and double training maybe for a couple months.
Okay,
and then by I think month 3 of training, I was like, I think I can make like a bigger group, like four girls per class. And that's like more like I try to start off with like a buddy deal where like you and your friends can train together. So when everybody feels comfortable, you know them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started singles and doubles and it went to a group of 4.
Okay.
I think the first year I took up to 4 in each class.
And now how many you have in your group?
Anywhere from 6 to 10.
Oh, okay. But still pretty small, isn't it?
It's not anything crazy, but like I remember when I first started in doing groups, like even like a group of 6, I was so overwhelmed and like exhausted by that class because I was like, oh my gosh, there's just so much going on. I'm overstimulated. So go from going from 2 to 4 to 6 was like a lot. And now I feel like managing 8 to 10 is like no problem. When we do our yearly, what's it called? Like, it's like a big live workout, and we've had up to 100 girls at Riverwalk, and that was so fun. That was fun. Like, I felt like, oh my gosh, there's so many people out here.
Yeah.
That was a little overwhelming at first, and then as we went by with more events, it was a little bit more easy to keep up with. So now like a group of 8 to 10 is like nothing to me. It's actually, I think it's funner when there's groups of girls, like 8 to 10 there.
Oh, nice.
That's good.
And when you first started the transition, what were some struggles you kind of dealt with from like 2, 4 clients, 6, 8?
I think it's just adjusting to different. But it wasn't that hard. It was just a little bit more overwhelming because you go from dealing with just 2 people to like 4. And then you have to find workouts that kind of correlate each other around the same time. And then you have to pay attention to your clients, obviously.
Yeah.
And then making sure that the workout that you have written down that day fits the time frame. So my classes are about an hour. Sometimes we go over a little bit, but most of the time it's an hour. So I think that's the hardest part, is figuring out a workout plan that will actually finish within the hour and get everything done that you need to.
Yeah.
Is it because every person's doing a different workout, or they're all doing the same thing?
Well, you're talking about now or like back then?
Now.
Every class is so different. Like, so every week is so different. So let's say for a lower body day, one week everybody's doing the same thing.
Oh, okay.
And then sometimes I do it in groups where it's like, this station you're doing this station you're doing that, and so on.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
so that's why it
every
was
week's
kind of a little bit overwhelming back in the day, because you had to manage so many
Structure.
people. Structure so
You're
many
trying
people.
to figure out, how to
different
structure things.
And you got to keep eye on everybody and like
Yes,
the reps and everything.
And then also like everybody's at different levels.
Right.
So it's like maybe a couple girls are a little bit more advanced than others, but with that I like to pair my more advanced girls with my non-advanced girls. So even if I'm not right there, the more advanced girls will be like, hey, this is how you do it.
Oh, okay.
Smart.
So they're all, I mean I can see all of them. You can ask my clients. I see everybody in the back of my head. They be trying to grab the wrong weight, and I see them.
Like, no.
Yeah, no, exactly. So no, for the most part, I see they're all in my peripheral vision most of the time. So I'm able to keep track of them.
Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then now you're mainly a lot of referral based on what I see.
Yeah, it is.
So when you first started, were you like reaching out to clients, or kind of how did you get started?
I think when I started at the right time because I was competing that year.
Oh, okay.
So I got a lot of people like, oh my gosh, she did this. Like, I want to join with her. And then I actually, let's like rewind a little bit. Before I started my personal training, I was actually baking. So at CSUB, I was baking for the weekends, and like I was selling and baking. So a lot of people, my page actually grew from my baking. And then after that, so people already knew me from baking and buying things from me. And then when I started training, it was like, oh, shoot, she trains too. So I think that's how my business grew at that. And then obviously referrals too. And then having a better buddy system. So when I train buddies or like a group of people, I would give them a better discount.
Oh, okay.
And then it slowly just grew from that. But my main focus for the first year that I was training was making sure that my clients were getting like crazy, amazing results in the time frame that they were with me in the most healthy way possible.
Oh, good.
So yeah, and that I think that's how it grew.
And is that how you had to structure your business plan from the beginning, or you just kind of adjusted it as you went by?
What do you mean by that?
Like, because I imagine when you structure your business plan, you had a one way to doing it, right? But then things always change.
Yeah. I kind of change it accordingly yearly, honestly. But for the most part, the structure is about the same, just some tweaks and adjustments throughout the year.
Perfecting it.
Yeah, just to change it. Like, okay, I think this will work a little bit better this year. Just a lot of trial and error, right? Like when you own your business, it's experience.
Yeah.
What you, there's things I won't do now that I did in the beginning, right? So yeah, I think with business, trial and error is what makes you a little bit more successful each year.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
And you mentioned you competed. How long did you do that for?
Oh, I only competed, I think, for a year. I only did 2 shows.
Okay.
So I did NPC Bikini. I don't even remember the date of my first show, but I did one right after that. I think 6 months after, because I was like already in the mindset. And then after that, it was so exhausting. I was like,
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's like a different type of dieting. It's not dieting. So it's like really, my main focus was winning. That was my main focus, was to win. I didn't care what I had to do. I did what I needed to do, but it's way more exhausting than just a normal everyday diet.
Yeah. Because it's more structured
It's
and like
so structured.
very to the minute of like salt, this, that.
How many times you're eating per day, your macros for your cardio, your fasted cardio, how many times you're going to the gym that day or that week, whatever, right? So that was definitely one of the hardest diets I've ever done, ever. Yeah.
How was that, the training part too? Was it more intense than it is now, or is it
Training?
Yeah, when you were training then for the show.
Yeah, you train, I would say pretty still hard. It's still hard, but for that, I think you let the diet do the work majority of the time. You're doing the exercises still, but because you are such at a calorie deficit, your body can't really push that much weight, especially when it comes closer to the show time.
Yeah.
So like the last month, I don't even know what was going on the last month. I was I just think I was so hungry all the time that even like, you think about it now, it's like most girls are like dreading the protein part of their diet, right? Like I give them the minimum of what they should be eating. And then when I was dieting for the last 4 weeks, I just remember thinking to myself, oh my God, I wish I had more chicken. That's how hungry I was. So like the last month was so difficult on more the diet part and then the cardio. So I think the diet and the cardio was more focused on. The working out obviously was focused on too, but you're not really pushing like a crazy amount of weight like powerlifting. It's a whole different type of training, I would say.
And it's a lot of mental drain too, because
oh my gosh, yes.
You gotta really take control of your mind and be like,
absolutely,
I gotta stick to this,
because your mind will give out before your body does.
Yes.
You will psych yourself out with your mind and your mindset before that. You have to go into that prep with a positive mindset and knowing that it's temporary, because it's a lot. It's very draining mentally. Yeah. So
did you think it was going to be as hard as it was?
Oh, no, I knew it. I knew it was. I already knew there was going to be a lot. I kind of did my research before I started prepping for the show, kind of more or less what to look for and expect. Yeah, it was difficult. One of the more difficult things for
Good
sure.
experience.
It was a great experience, though. It's not really my thing now. Like, it's not something that I'm like, oh my God, I want to do. But back when I did it, it was such a big thing in town. Like, I felt like everyone was competing. Everyone was doing that. And now it's not like people still do compete, but it's not as big as it once was. But yeah.
And before that, were you working out still, like your journey? Like, when did that start? Like fitness, like your first workout?
I want to say I've always been pretty athletic. So I played soccer when I was young, like I think 7 years old. So I've always been super competitive. I played for a club team, and my coach, I think my coach back then in club is probably the reason why I'm so tough on my clients now. But that training style has always stuck with me. But as far as like actual like training in the gym, before I became a trainer, I think I was only doing it for like a year and a half before that.
Okay.
But I was still learning, right? Like,
yeah.
I was a soccer player, so training for soccer and practices is so much
Way
different than weightlifting.
Yeah.
You know, you can be very athletic in soccer, but it's so different in weightlifting. And I think it took me about this time that at least a year and a half for me to get in the groove of things and being consistent in the gym and actually going more than just the leg days. Because I think when I started, I only did leg days. Like I was so, but it's like that's
most girls.
Yeah, most girls too. Because most girls would just go on the cardio machine, right?
Yeah.
Because they're scared of looking dumb in front of guys, and it's true. Like a lot of my clients will never go in the weight room unless they're with me or they're with their boyfriend because they're afraid of doing it wrong or just looking dumb, right? So they're like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna go do legs, and I'm gonna go in the room, and then I'm gonna do cardio, and I'm gonna do core, and then that's it, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the question again? I got a little sidetracked.
It was what was your first workout?
Oh yeah, so I used to like only train legs, and then it took me a solid 6 to 8 months before I even trained anything else. And then me even going comfortably to the gym, like in the weight room to do upper body by myself. So yeah, it took a while. And then I would say within a year and a half of training consistently, that was when I was actually comfortable going in the gym by myself and doing upper body.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then you said you had the clothing brand as well.
Yes.
How did that begin?
Okay, so I've always known that I wanted to have an apparel line because I love gym clothes. I'm in gym clothes majority of the week, honestly. That is my work attire. And I've had like literally every brand out there, right? And I've always loved workout apparel. But like the ones I liked the most, I felt like they were so pricey and expensive, right? And at the time I was like, 25-ish? But years before that, I was already looking for manufacturers.
Oh, okay.
That's the hardest part, finding manufacturers that actually will put out good quality and what you want. So I've spent over thousands of dollars getting just samples and hated everything. So I just put that to the back burner for years because that was not my main income. My income was from training. So I was like, I'm good right now. When the time comes, it's going to come. So I remember buying from the manufacturer. I always buy different manufacturers just to test it out. And you have to buy a certain quota of pieces in order for them to ship, right? So I ended up ordering at this manufacturer one time in specific colors, styles, and it came within, I don't know, I think a month or so. And I remember opening the box and it was in my kitchen and I pulled it out the bag and I was like, no way, no way. Did I find my manufacturer because I'm so picky with gym clothes and not necessarily just how it fits. I mean, not how it fits, how it feels, but how it fits to the body. And I spent thousands of dollars at Lululemon and I was sick and tired of going to Lululemon and spending $200 for literally a legging and maybe an accessory there, right? $200, like for like a bra and leggings. I'm sure. I mean, every girl knows they've been a Lululemon before. You're spending nothing less than $150, like nothing. And if you do find yourself getting something less than $150, then you just probably got yourself a backpack. And even then, no, the backpacks are like $150 too, you know? So I was so tired of like spending that money, and I was like so determined to find something so alike, same quality, but a better price point. And then, so anyways, that manufacturer ended being my favorite, and that's my manufacturer now, and that's how I started things. But that was like, I think before that, I want to say it was like 2-3 years before that. That was me finding my manufacturer. It took me about
That's
2
how long
years.
it took.
It took about 2 to 3 years for me to find my manufacturer, but I was literally like, I'm over it. I don't even want to do this anymore until I got to that. And I was like, oh, wow. Like finally something worth the price point and the quality, right? But we were just talking about earlier how nobody sees behind the scenes. They just see the finish. Yes, they just see the finish. The money spent, and especially in your own business, you don't got anybody. I mean, sometimes there's business investors, right? But for the most part, it's your own money. It's your own work. It's your own everything.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
And then so sometimes it's a hit and sometimes it's a miss.
And when you first launched it, how did the first launch go? When you first
Oh my
did
gosh,
it?
the first launch went so well. Everyone was so excited because, again, I've trained, I want to say I was already training for at least 6 years before that. So I've already worked with so many girls, right? And every girl was like so excited to like
Waiting.
yeah, because they knew my standard and my expectation. Like I'm not putting out anything that is not worth it. I will not do that. I don't care to make a penny out of it if it's not worth it. So I think a lot of people were super excited for me, and they knew that the day that I dropped something, it was going to be of standard. It went so well. I think we sold out really. So within like
Nice.
I want to say 2 hours, we sold out.
Oh, wow.
So it was a great launch.
How did that feel from all the work you did? And you're just like, oh my gosh.
It was like validation. It was validation that I was like, okay, I'm on the right tracks with everything. I'm glad I waited for an actual like manufacturer up to my standard before I released, because you can only get so far with people just, supporting you, right?
Yeah.
Like they support you, so they'll buy whatever you put out, right?
yeah.
But I didn't want people just to buy things from me to support me. I wanted people to buy things because they genuinely loved it, right?
Yeah.
So if I didn't care for standards or whatever, I would have released years ago with the shitty stuff that I did get. But I didn't want that. I wanted to make sure that people, when they bought it, they were actually like, wow, this is so alike from the high-end brands, right? And there has been so many people. I am super high maintenance in that kind of area.
Yeah.
So if you're going to tell me it feels like something, it better feel like that. Don't put out something that you're not like, it's,
Yeah.
So I was very much like that. And I think that's why the brand has been so successful yearly and every drop, not because they just support me. Of course, there's people that buy it to support me. But no, I truly believe that people buy it because of the quality is so good and the price point is a fraction of Lululemon.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
And how did the name Six Figures Athletics come?
Okay, so when I first started training, my first year, I was trying to figure out a business name. And it was so hard. Like, I think that's the hardest part is like finding a brand, right? A brand name. And I was so picky. I'm still so picky, right? But the Six Figures it was more of a, so women come in all shapes of sizes, right? I wish I had the logo of my old logo. And women have different shapes and sizes. So the Six Figures kind of come from that.
Oh, okay.
So my original logo, I wish I had it. There were 6 girls on the thing, and there was like different shapes of girls on the logo.
Okay.
If I find it, I'll send it to you guys. But it was just different body shapes, types of all sorts. And as long as you are comfortable and you love your body, then that's all that matters. Not everybody's going to fit in a size 0 or 3.
Yeah.
That wasn't what my training was supposed to do. I didn't want my girls to come to me and train and look like stick and bones. I wanted them to come to training, lose the weight that they wanted to lose, but ultimately it was for them to regain their confidence after having kids, after just losing themselves, after a few years of not train or whatever it is, not eating healthy and whatever. So that was my main thing. The second reason behind that was my main goal for me, I guess. So I told you guys I graduated at CSUB, criminal law major, minor in sociology, and my mom and my dad were real afraid. They were afraid that I was not going to be successful. So they were always questioning my decisions. So I felt like I had something to prove. I felt like they thought like I'm raised in a typical Asian household. So they really felt like the only way to be successful is to be a lawyer, to be a doctor. Those things. And that's not to say that they're not successful careers. That's great. But they only thought that that's the only way you could be successful. And that's so not true. We're in 2025. There's people that do hair. that make more money than people in the courtrooms.
Oh,
yeah, way more.
There's girls that do lashes that make more money
Oh, yeah.
than some people. There's strippers making more money than you get what I'm saying?
Lower,
It's
yeah.
2025.
Oh, yeah.
I just knew that whatever I ended up choosing to do, I was going to put my full heart into it. And I was not going to settle until I made a certain amount, 6 figures. That was my goal my first year. I wrote it down. I wrote my business plan. This is how I'm going to make this money. This is how I'm going to create a business plan. And this is my, I don't know, I want to say 3-year plan. Let's see,
Yeah.
And then I remember writing all this down when I first started, because again, I had to show my mom.
Yeah.
And I'm 31 years old, and I am still scared I'm scared of my mom till this day. So I remember writing these things down in my journal, and I remember because I was still living with my mom at the time. I was 21 when I started training.
Okay.
So I wrote all this down, and what did I pay for? I don't think I paid. Obviously, I lived with my mom, so I didn't pay for that. But I don't really remember what bills I had, but it was like small bills. It wasn't anything like now, right? Writing everything down, and like all the money that I made from training that first year, I would throw it in my Nike shoebox. Like that was where I saved my money. I had a bank account too, but my Nike shoebox was what I kept track of things, right?
Yeah.
And then within this first 6 months of me training, I wrote everything down, and I was like, I gave my mom the shoebox, and like I showed her, I was like, okay,
Look what
look what I did 6 months. Give me another like a year, and this is gonna like be so much better. So I remember obviously looking at what I was supposed to make in the county when I I was gonna apply for it, right?
Yeah. So you kind of get an idea.
Kind of get an idea what I would make per hour, per year, per month. And then you got to subtract the benefits that what the county would give you, right?
Yeah.
Because that's still money you're getting, but it's just hidden money, right?
Yeah.
So I had to make this thing like, okay, if I made this for the county, if I was working for the county, I would make this. So for when I train, I have to make this plus this in order to cover for my insurance, in order to cover for my maternity leave one day, in order for me to cover for my sick time. You don't get paid for your sick time. You can't call into work and be like, hey, I'm not going to work today. No, that's your money. That's you can't do that. So for me, like I had to write down and like, okay, this is the exact like how much I should be making per month in order for me to like make this work, right? So I wrote it down. I gave her the shoebox, and she never said anything to me after that. So that's why we are in year 11. And she I mean, at first, as a mom, I understand too. I would be hesitant if my kids were in college. I paid for how expensive their college tuition was, graduated just for them to be like, I don't want to do this. I'm going to go do this instead. I would be pissed. I would have been pissed myself, right? Yeah. But I feel like my mom should have trusted me more with my judgment because I'm not stupid. So I felt like she was just, she was just
being a mom.
But after that day, my mom never said nothing to me ever since.
She's seen the potential. She's
seen the potential. She's
the work
seen
you've been putting in, and you were serious.
Yeah, and I think another thing, it's like, how long is this going to last, right? Yeah. Like, how long is this really going to last? Like, how many more people can you train? And I'm not going to lie, you're a trainer yourself.
Yeah,
you're not going to like. I was kind of like, shit. Like, maybe this year is great, but like, how am I going to keep up with clientele yearly? Like, I'm only 21. I got years to go, right? Like, how many more years can I do this where I'm actually busy, where I'm actually, like making money? And I want to say I'm busier than I've ever been before. And it's almost 11 years in October.
Growing.
It keeps growing. Mm-hmm. It keeps growing. So I was nervous. I really was nervous. Like, oh my gosh, how long can I actually do this for? Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great to like think about it. I'm like, wow, it's been 11 years.
That's amazing, honestly.
Thank you.
Because business is not very
linear.
easy.
It's not linear. It's like up and down.
Some months you're like, fuck. Hopefully next month picks up.
Yeah. Yeah. There's certain seasons during the year that you're a little less busy, right?
Yeah.
Because holiday seasons, people are spending money on other things. But you got to prepare for that.
Exactly.
You know, like, okay, like I know this month might not be my busiest or the season might not be my busiest. So I need to pick it up the other months
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to make up.
for.
And it always works out.
It does. For the most part, yeah, it does work out as long as you put in the work and you actually do something about it. You can't just sit there and expect people to, you know,
Just fall in your lap.
It will never fall in your lap.
never fall in your lap.
It will never fall in your lap.
Yeah, put in the hard work that most people are not willing to do.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Especially as new trainers, as I see new trainers come in, they don't put in the work that.
I think that's just with the generation, though.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I think the way that our generation, like how our family and our parents were to us,
Yeah.
Work.
that it's like, for me at least, when I was in like high school, I was working, right? And it's like, oh, if I wanted to party till 5 o'clock in the morning, I better get my ass up to go work at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That's just my mentality.
Yeah.
That was my mentality. Like, okay, I can stay up and party all night and be up at 5 a.m.
Be responsible.
Okay, I'm going to be responsible. In 2 hours, I got to wake up to work.
Yeah.
But I feel like this generation, I feel like, oh, I'm going to call in sick because
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's what
Or
it
even
seems
with
like.
school, not even just like, it didn't matter. Like, I was so sick and I'll still go to school.
Oh,
right?
Oh, yeah.
So I just think the generation has softened up a little bit in this work ethic, and like the work world is a lot different, right?
Yeah.
There's so many kids calling out because they're sick or they're having a bad mental
You need a mental
day.
break.
Girl, mental break is crazy because my mental break was like, okay, go cry in the closet for a little bit and come out, and then you're about to work again.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to. That's how real life works.
And if you didn't go to school because you were sick, you were doing work at home.
Oh yeah,
You were doing work
it's actually more work at
More
home.
work.
Oh,
Yeah.
you want to stay home? Okay, go clean, go cook, go do the
And after
laundry.
you're done, you're gonna do this, do that. Do
Yeah,
this.
and then you finally are like, you know what? I
Like,
think
I'm
going
just
to
gonna
school.
go to school.
You know what? I think school sounds just fine
Yeah.
today, right? No,
Yeah.
seriously. So I feel like that's the biggest difference between our generation and the
yeah.
newer generation. I'm trying to bring
I
it
agree.
back to my kids.
Yes.
My generation, I'm trying to bring it back to how I parent my children. Because
yes.
nothing is going to be given. No matter how successful I am, of course I would help my children, right?
Yeah.
But I want them to learn how to get it themselves.
Oh yeah, and be responsible.
Be responsible. I wasn't able to drive a luxury vehicle until I was able to pay for the luxury
Right,
vehicle,
exactly.
the gas, the maintenance, the everything,
Oh, yeah.
right? So yeah. You know what's crazy? I think you worked on all my cars that I bought.
yeah.
I think you worked on my Lexus, my Porsche, and now my Lincoln.
Oh yeah.
Literally. So like all those cars that I bought after 21, those are the cars I had to do everything with, like to actually get myself, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And have you always had that work ethic as a kid? Like, was that something instilled as like your parents were like, you need to work?
I don't know. I couldn't say, okay, my mom, I would say was really tough on me, right? But she graduated at CSUB with a business degree, right? So I feel like she instilled it in me without really realizing she instilled it in me. I've always been like that though. I've always knew that I was gonna own a business or do something by myself. I just didn't know what it was. Even when I was going to school at CSUB, I was so miserable going to school. That doesn't mean I didn't do the work that I needed to do to graduate. That didn't mean that I didn't show up to class. That didn't mean I didn't work. That didn't mean that I didn't study. I did everything I needed to do, but I was so miserable because I knew that's not where I was supposed to be. But for my parents, at least, that was the only way that you would be successful is if you graduate. And no shade for anybody who graduates. I would do that 10 times over again. I would go to college. I would get my degree. But I think I would have graduated in business. But I think my mom, because she graduated in business, she was just like, I don't know why she didn't actually tell me to go to business. I think I would have been even more successful if I learned the business degree, right? Criminal justice has nothing to do with what I'm doing now at all. But business, you can actually apply business to everything you do in your life. So even if you were doing something else, like let's say you were a teacher, you could still use that business degree for something else. Like you could still use it. Management. You can find ways to make more money right? So I wish I did graduate in business. But yeah, it's just one of those things that you live and you learn. And if I were to take it back, I'd still go to college. I'd still go get my degree. But I would major in something else.
Yeah, I hated school too. I got my
Hated
accounting.
it.
Yeah, I got my accounting degree.
Oh, did you?
So that actually helps my business. And,
Yeah, see,
and that's how I was able to scale very quickly because I understood the bottom line. Okay, expenses.
how much you should
How
make.
much? Yeah, how much time I need to put here. What I need to do. Because I've seen all the back end of like big businesses, the money flows, and taking even like what I've learned in accounting when I worked as a CPA was take your money and park it somewhere and invest it. And let that do the work because that's the only
Eventually, right? Because you're not going to be a trainer all the rest of your life.
Yeah,
You're not going to be a
exactly.
60-year-old trainer, right?
Retirement
Exactly.
plan.
Yeah, you have to actually learn that very quickly on. And I think, but I will say this, business either comes to you or it doesn't. You either are a business person or you're not.
Yeah.
That is not something you are taught. Even if you go to school,
You
right?
either have it or you don't.
I've always said that. So even if you went to go get your degree in business and that's really not your forte, you might not be as great as it, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen businessmen that never even went to school, right? They've never been to school. They've never got a college degree. They got dropouts in high school.
Yeah.
And they're really successful because they already knew what to do, right? With business.
They had it.
They already had it in them. And I just felt like, I told you guys that I was baking before this. And a lot of people would vouch that they followed me because of my cookie bars. Like I used to hustle those things. I swear to you, I have people still asking me to make them. I'm like, girl, those days are over. I don't bake no more. I bake for fun, like for my family and my friends.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I do not bake anymore. I remember being in classes, my criminal justice class, not zoned out completely, being on my phone, taking orders, like on my notepad, like writing down, okay, what orders am I going to have this weekend? I'm making cake pops. I'm doing this. I'm doing cupcakes. I'm doing protein donuts. I'm doing whatever it was. And that early on, I should have already known. I should have.
You're already a
been in
business owner right there.
I already should have been in business versus whatever I was in, you know? So, yeah.
How did you get into the baking? How did that begin?
Oh my gosh. So I've always liked to cook. I think, while every kid was playing with Barbies and stuff, I was playing in the kitchen. I was like pretending I was, I thought I was
you were
Martha
selling.
Stewart. I was over here at like, no, I'm not joking, probably like 7, 8 years old in the kitchen. And I loved cooking. It was just so fun to me. And then I used to hate baking, right? And then I slowly liked baking. I think I started picking up baking end of my senior year in high school. And then I would do it for fun. I truthfully don't even know how I started doing like design cake pops and all that. And I started baking and then selling. And then that was years. Like I did that for about 4 or 5 years. And I was working at Applebee's at the time too. So I was working at Applebee's and then I would go bake on the weekends and then go to school. But yeah, I think it just, I don't even know how it started. Like sometimes you think about it and you're like, I don't even know how I started actually baking and selling, like to actually sell. I was doing it for fun for a while. And I think somebody had to be like, you should sell them.
Yeah, usually you start and then you post them or whatever and people ask, oh, are you selling those?
Yes, it
So
probably
then
started
you start
like
doing
that.
it for fun and then it just becomes a business.
Yeah. And then it happened referral to referral, you know? So yeah, I think that's how it started. I couldn't even remember. It was a while ago.
Lots of fun.
It was fun though. I mean, then I hated it. Then I was like, I don't want to do this anymore because I really wanted to go open up a bakery one day, something, right? Because I love food. I love baking. I love cooking. So eventually I wanted to open something. And yeah, that's how everything went down with that. But then I kind of like grew out of it. And then the training fell in my lap after I graduated. So.
And then, because you've been in business for 10, going on 11, how has social media changed since you started fitness to now?
I mean, social media is such a big part in a lot of people's business, and I don't think people take advantage of it as much as they should, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's free marketing. It's free marketing, and as long as you market correctly and consistently, I think you'll do well. But again, 2016, let's say 2015, 2016, you couldn't get the information that you can get now on TikTok, on Instagram, workout videos, trainers giving free things, right? Giving free workout plans or whatever it is. I think that's the biggest thing. Like a lot of, I want to say more people are in fitness now than they were in 2015. So that's a good, like, that's great that people are in the gym now more. But I think that's the biggest part of social media changing from 2015 when I started. I think barely people are starting to work out in 2015 when I started. Just like when I started, I think everybody was like, okay, maybe not even to look good, maybe just to feel better, right?
Yeah.
Because looking good is just a bonus.
Extra,
But I think working out and just being mentally sane and just you use it as a positive thing in your life versus a negative thing. I think that's the biggest change from 2015 to now, 2025. Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of like different information on social media that sometimes can cross the wrong way with like influencers and saying this and doing that. How has that do any of your clients be like, hey, I saw this on Instagram. Can we
All the
try
time.
this?
And I said, is that your trainer or am I your, no, I'm kidding. No, so sometimes I love that when they do that though, because not only am I answering their questions, other people in the classes are also curious, right?
Yeah.
So I like to be very much, I like to inform them with the right piece of information because that's what they're educate them, because not everything that you hear on online is like the biggest one, and let's see how you feel about this. No carbs is the best thing. Like, let me cut all the carbs out of my diet. What do you think about that?
It depends on the person.
Okay.
So it's dependent.
But not everybody could.
No.
Exactly. Not everybody, but everybody. Again, that's a big thing going on social media. Is like, go carbless.
Because sometimes you have to meet your clients in the middle.
Yeah.
Because maybe some of them don't want the meal plan, but they still want to eat what they're eating. So you have to say, okay, well, eat that, but cut your portion stuff.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to meet them in the middle, but not cutting their carbs all the way, because sometimes when you do that, their energy drops too much.
That's exactly what it is.
So some people can drop it, like you can slowly
slightly drop.
And then depending on the person, if they become fat adapted, which takes time and it takes practice, then they can go carbless sometimes. Yes. But that's very, very finicky as far as you have to be very on point on your fats, because your energy will go down very
if you
quickly.
Don't eat the certain amount. But I'm just saying in general that people hear that going not eating carbs at all. So they go from eating hella carbs like pizza, donuts, everything you possibly can imagine. So you're going from that to not eating any carbs. Your body's not going to adapt very quickly, right? It's just going to be like, what the hell are you doing to my body?
Yeah.
So let's say I rather have them go, okay, let's say you're used to eating 180 grams of carbs, then you're going to slowly bring it down to 160. Yeah. And so, but we're not going from 180 to 30 grams of carbs. No. It just doesn't work that way. But I think that's one big misconception that eating no carbs is the best way. And I've had more of my clients make the best progress in just reducing calorie intake. Not just necessary carbs, calorie intake.
Totally, yep.
And made the best progress. And they're like, wow, I went carbless for a whole year and I'm making better progress now that I'm just eating the way that you're telling me, right? They don't question me. I tell them, if you listen to this plan, you're going to make progress. Yeah. But if you're not listening to it, I can't really help you. Like, exactly. we gotta see what's working for you. But 10 out of 10 times, they do what I tell them and the progress is coming, right? But that's just one of those things that, you hear all these things on social media all the time about not eating carbs, not eating after 9, all these things that's like, I show prepped and I was in the best shape of my life and I would eat after 9. It's not about eating after 9. It's about what are you eating after 9? Because I know you're not craving no chicken and broccoli after 9. I know you're wanting some Jack in the Box or ice cream or chips. I know nobody's at 9 o'clock and 9:30 in the weekends being like, oh my God, I wish I had a bowl of chicken and broccoli. You get what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily what time you're eating, but what you're eating. Exactly. And as long as you learn how to balance your everyday lifestyle with a healthier lifestyle, you'll make the best progress. Right?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And even switching their carbs, like from like here, let's say, okay, if you're eating this type of carbs, let's go to this type of carb. So switching like maybe from too much breads to a sweet potatoes or potatoes or more fruit. Because then that way, because some people I find if they eat bread, it's like a trigger for them. And then they overconsume the bread that I can't stop. So that's one thing where I always ask clients is, if you eat this, are you just going to start binging on it?
But it's also their control.
Exactly.
You're also not having a healthy relationship with food.
Exactly.
Because if you don't have a healthy relationship with food, you're gonna like, let's say, for example, somebody is like addicted to soda, right? I would say a lot of people love soda or drinking. So I'm gonna give you an example. I had one client come into me and she said that she was guilty on drinking those big gulps from 7-Eleven?
Yeah.
And she would drink like 2 of those because she was working in a truck all day, right? Driving. And she would go from 2 big gulps, and like that's every single day. And she was gaining so much weight. So when she came to me, she was like, so should I cut out soda completely? I said, you're actually not going to do that. You're going to go from 2 to 1. And she said 2 to 1. And I was like, yes, you're going to go from 2 big gulps to 1 big gulps. One big gulp a day. And she's like, why do you think that's a good idea? Why shouldn't I just cut it out? It's like, because you're gonna binge the day that you get a little taste of soda, or you're craving it for like, you might be able to go soda-less for maybe 2-3 weeks, but by that 4th week you're gonna like crave it and you're gonna go aggressive with it. You're gonna go overdoing it. So versus going from 2 to 1, which sounds still crazy. 1 big gulp a day is still kind of crazy.
But it lowers the calories.
It's what do you think a big gulp is? Like how many calories?
It's all sugar.
700?
Probably close 7 to 1,000.
Okay, let's say 800. Let's say in the middle, 800. So going from 1,600 calories just drinking soda to drinking 800 calories less a day. So 800 calories times 7 days is what? How many? Like that's a lot of calories.
Yeah.
That's 5, already 5,000 calories already taken out from a week without having to take it out completely. Yeah. And then slowly, what she do? She started going like, oh, I only need a sip of soda now. By month 3, I think she was like, oh, I just drink a sip, like just to get that craving out. And even when I go out to eat, sometimes I'm drinking like the 1 glass and then I'm good. I don't need fills and fills all the time, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest things. It's like, okay, let's just
tapering off like a drug.
Yes, little changes will make bigger changes long term. Because the goal for me, I don't know about for you, but I want them to have long term progress, not just what you could do for 2 months. I don't want you to go YOLO and like quit this, and then you can only sustain that for 2-3 months. That makes no sense. I want it to be like, okay, we're tapering it off, so we're eating a little less or drinking a little less or fixing your bad habits to be a little bit better every single day, because eventually that will turn into a lifestyle progress.
And that's the goal.
Lifestyle progress, not just, oh, what we can do in 2-3 months.
Give them all the tools to survive 10, 20 years down the road.
After me, right? If they choose to, then you need to learn those things.
Because some people can be handheld all the way through.
I know.
Some people need it, but
I know what some of my clients wish I was just sitting there, like slapping them, not eating that or not drinking that.
I can't tell you. I can't
hold your hand. It's like a child. You're not gonna be with your child for the rest of their life. You got to teach them all the right things, the basics, the needed in this life to like for them to survive when you're not on this world with them, right?
Exactly.
So it's like same thing with adults. It's like I always tell my clients, like I have clients from all types, like all ages, right? From 20s to 50. And I always tell them like my goal, like you guys are like my big children.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to like yell at them at training because like, you're not supposed to do that. This, like, and these are clients that have been with me for years now, right? And I feel like I always tell them like, you guys are like my big children. Like I have to scold you guys every single week for you guys to get it together. But yeah.
What's one of the hardest things training so many different personalities and girls, because they're all in the group class?
I feel like for the first year, I want to say the first year of training, it was a little harder because one, it's your training. You're learning to adapt, right? But two, I feel like I was super introvert. Like I myself was not comfortable talking to people I didn't really know like that. But it being in this business, you kind of have to change that quickly because your personality is what's selling people. Like, and people can spot that from the jump. And I think after the first year, it adapted me to like be able to like get along with so many different personalities and so many different types of girls. I have so many girls I work with. There's ones that are a little bit more shy, more reserved. There's girls that are super funny. They're more like me. And like I've grown such good, beautiful relationships and friendships with my clients over the years. I think that has been the best part of this whole thing. Like building so many great, genuine friendships throughout the years with so many girls I would never meet if I wasn't in this industry.
Yep.
It becomes a big family.
Too.
It comes, yeah. And I have a lot of my friends and clients that turn into friends after all these years. But yeah, I think that was one of the best things for my training is meeting so many beautiful women inside and out. And knowing that I wasn't going to ever meet them if I wasn't in this industry.
Yeah, same. Yeah. I've met so many people through just fitness. And I'm like, I would have never met you if I was still doing accounting.
No, exactly. Yeah. So you were doing accounting before?
Yeah, I was a CPA. So I was actually doing taxes. I've done
So you did use your degree.
Yeah, I did.
Unlike me, you did use it.
I used it and then kind of learned all kind of because I did a lot of tax returns for millionaires, a lot of oil and gas doctors. And I saw how they structured everything. And that's why I started learning. I'm like, oh shit, why is this got so many zeros? Looking at their
so the back end of business.
Yes, all the back end, all the stuff no one sees. And I was like, and then I would ask them questions, obviously, and they would tell me like, oh yeah, you just find an asset and put your money in there and just act like you don't have it no more and wait 5-10 years. And,
absolutely.
And it tends to grow if it's a good company. And that's how I learned to invest, like a trigger in my head where it's like, okay, so when I get cash, just start putting it somewhere. And that's what I kind of did even with the fitness. I would take every time I would get a new client or every month, put a certain
and that's
percentage.
Great for you to already know. Because I feel like that is the reason why most business owners they're not successful because you're not allocating your money correctly.
Yep.
You're allocating your money because like, okay, let's say you do only you only accept cash from clients, right?
Yeah.
You get cash and you're like, oh shit, I'm balling out this week. I got this money. I'm spending it. Like, no, sir, that's not how business works because again, when you work for another company, you're getting written a check. So you're like, okay, I know exactly how much I'm making.
Yep.
So you can put half in the bank, or maybe it gets sent to your bank account already. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna put 1,000 to the bank account, and then I'll spend 600, whatever you make, right?
Yeah.
But when you own your own business, you have to learn that yourself. People don't understand when you own your own business, you actually have to know a lot more than you think. It's not like,
you got bigger bills.
You actually go, yes. It's like, no, you actually have way more responsibilities. And you actually have to be responsible for your own business. You don't have somebody writing your 8 to 5 schedule.
Yep.
You are making your schedule. Yep. So you can either make a great schedule and make your so busy, or you can be so like not busy, obviously. But yeah, knowing how to allocate your money when you own your business is such an important thing that I think a lot of business owners miss the market on. Because how mumuch money are you really making if you're not saving?
Not much, because you're spending it. Going in.
Saving money is actually how you make money. Because if you don't, let's say $5,000 a month, right? And you're just spending it every single week on dumb stuff like bottle service, drinking at the bar, eating out every single day. Yeah. And you think that those are little things. Those things add up, right? Yep. You're looking at your bill like, let's go to a restaurant and you drink. That's people that drink. You're looking at least a $30 to $50 tab every single time you go. That's on the lower end too.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how much people drink, but for the most part, and let's say you're going to get bottle service. How much is bottle service in town? $300? I don't know. $300, $500?
Not cheap.
It's not cheap, but you're doing that every single week. And it's like, okay, instead of making $5,000 a month, oh shit, I'm only making like $600. Yeah. I'm only pocketing $600 because I don't know how to allocate my money correctly, right? So yeah.
It's important.
It's so important. I think owning a business, you have to have all these skills and these tactics in order to make the business run smoothly and properly.
And that's why you can't be really taught as much.
You can't. You have to know those things.
Yeah.
That's why I told you from the very beginning. Yep. You either know business or you don't. And sometimes people need to have somebody, a boss, to tell them you need to come in at 8 to 5. Yeah. Sometimes you need a boss some people are not business people, so they have to work for other companies. Yep. They have to work for somebody that has the business mindset already, that has that boss mentality.
As you said, it's the mindset.
It's the mindset.
It all comes back to the mindset.
So everybody thinks that they can own their business until they see the back end of what you actually need to do. You're not just trying to. So, for example, let's talk about training, right?
Yeah.
You can be a great trainer. You can be a great, amazing trainer, and you know exactly what to do. But if you don't know how to manage your business, you don't know how to save, you don't know how to allocate your money, you might as well work for a corporate gym, like
Pretty
like
much.
any corporate gyms, because they're actually writing you a check. They're making you a schedule of how many clients you're making or getting a week. But guess what? The back end of that is that they're keeping majority of your paycheck.
A big chunk.
So I remember working for, I don't know if I can even say their name, but let's just say, and I think they were charging $65 an hour for a client. And out of that hour, you were making from anywhere from $12 to $18 an hour.
Damn.
Yeah, and if you didn't make your monthly like sales, like for example, I think at the place that I was working at, you had to sell $15,000 of personal training a month to make the bonuses. So that would bring you up.
Shit.
Hold on, that would bring you up to $18 a month. I mean, $18 an hour in that $65, and you have to do everything. I'm doing everything that I had to do. You're still doing all the work. You still got to create the meal plan. You still got to stretch them. You still got to teach them. You're just using their vicinity, and you're using the business they're giving you, right?
Yeah.
But then I looked at it, and that's when I was like, hell no. Let me write this business plan up to, even if I charge this for my clients. So instead of $65 an hour, I was charging, let's say 25. I'm still pocketing that 25. I'm not pocketing $12.
Yeah, way more than 12.
And I'm still working in the same amount of time.
Yep.
It made no sense to me. So I remember leaving Body Exchange. And I remember putting in my notice, and I was like, hey, in like a couple weeks, I'm going to be leaving and I'm going to be training. I remember the fitness manager. I hope he sees this. I hope he sees this. And I remember him looking, and I said, like, I'm going to leave. And he's like, oh, what are you leaving for? Like, what are you leaving to? Because he thought I was going to go to like another job, right? Because he knew I graduated and stuff. And I was like, oh, no, I'm just going to be renting I'm renting space out now. Training. He's like, I don't think that's a good idea. And I said, why do you think that's not a good idea? He said, well, one, you're a woman, and two, you're barely starting.
He's definitely gonna see this.
I hope he does. And I remember him telling me, you're not gonna make it.
Wow.
Right? And I was like, oh, okay. And I don't conversate with people that are ignorant. I'm like, okay, that's fine. He got me banned wherever I worked at. Because he seen me go back, and he thought, like, because he seen my business go well, he had me banned.
Wow. Hater.
I know.
Big time.
Yeah. That's a true story.
That's fucking crazy.
True crazy. And
that sounds like Bakersfield in general.
Yeah.
and out of all the guys I used to work with at this place, I still remember all the guys I worked with. I was thinking I was the only girl trainer there at the time. I'm the only one that trained still.
That's crazy.
Everyone else had to find another job because they weren't making it with the training.
Yeah. Because you can be the greatest trainer, but if you don't know business, like you said, I've seen great trainers come and go with the snap of a finger.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's just so much more than training.
It's the marketing.
You're
it's
not
the reaching out.
You are not just training. When there's so much more that goes into it. You can be a great trainer, but that doesn't mean that your business will survive just being a great trainer, right?
Yeah, because there's way more to it that obviously people don't see, and I don't think people that want to get into fitness don't understand yet until they get into it. So, like, if I see a new trainer and they ask me questions, I give them the whole rundown.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is how you're going to have to grow your business.
This is what it takes.
And I'll tell them exactly how to do it, and they'll do the opposite.
Yeah, but it's like, you can't teach that, though.
Yeah.
You can't teach that. You either want to do it or you don't. I'm going to give you my 2 cents in. You do what you will with the information. And if you do well with it, great. And if you don't listen to it, it's not my problem. Your business is not my problem. I gave you, like, if you genuinely ask me for my advice, I will genuinely give you it. I've always been that trainer. So if anybody has ever came to me for business advice or what do I think, and that has happened multiple times, and I have no problem sharing like some help, like some tips and stuff.
Yeah.
But whatever you choose to do, because that's what makes my business different from your business or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah. So being in business too, and being a fitness trainer, has there been other trainers in town where they're trying to take your clients and trying to like say, I'm gonna charge less.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna charge less than you.
You know what's crazy? It's always guys.
Wow.
I've never really had a problem with my girl trainers. It's the guys. It's happened in front of my face,
Oh, wow.
in the same gym, It's happened behind. I don't know if I'm allowed to even say these things. I won't say names.
You don't have to say
Yeah, no,
names.
you have to
Okay.
say names.
Spill it out.
But I hope he hears it too. Shame on him. One of my girls that was training with me at the time, she trained with me. She posted about me. I guess she was following another trainer in town. That guy was following her too, right?
Yeah.
And she posted about my training, like she was there, whatever. And then I think she was training with me maybe a week or two. And she gets hit up by this person, this guy, and was like, hey, do you mind me asking you how much she charges you? I charge this. You can get this, this, and this from me.
Wow.
And she was just like, oh, no, thank you. Like, I seen these messages. So I'm not like, it's not like I'm just hearing it here, he or she, she said, I seen these messages. And she's like, no, thank you. I'm training with blah, blah, blah. He left it alone. Then another time he reached out to her again. I don't remember the time period, but he reached out to her again and was like, do you mind sending me her terms and conditions paper?
What the?
My contract
Wow.
to him. And I remember like reading the message and I was furious. Because that shit, I didn't get where I got to stepping on anybody's toes.
Yeah.
Not one trainer in this town could tell me that I took any freaking client from them. If they came to me, that's another thing.
Yeah.
But I never reached out to them privately to be like, hey, by the way, your trainer sucks. You should come with me because I know what to do. You get what I'm saying? You don't win that
I think
way.
I know what you're talking about. We'll talk
you
off
mind?
camera.
Yeah, we'll talk off camera because it's probably happened with multiple people,
Yeah.
right? So hold on. I was like, oh, he got the wrong one because I'm nice until I'm not.
Yeah.
So I messaged him. I knew who he was. He used to train with me at my first private gym.
Yeah.
I knew exactly who he was. Don't look at me in the face and tell me you don't know what you're doing. So I messaged him. I say, hey, the next time you have a private question like that, ask me directly. I'll be sure to I'll be glad to answer it for you. And he's like, oh, my bad, something. And I just left him on red. But I wanted him to know that I knew.
Yeah.
But that is some scandalous stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, you even the craziest part, you can give my clients a great deal. You can charge them $1 a day and they'll still stay with me.
Because of you.
You're loyal.
Because of me. They're not staying. It's how you make your clients feel, how you train them, how personal you are. You can give my clients oh, here's $1 a day training classes. And my clients, a lot of them will be like, no, I'm good. I'm good with where I'm at.
Yeah, because you treat them well. You take care of them. You listen to them. You kind of do all the extra stuff that no one really sees. You can't really
I'm
teach
here
that
for a
as
good
well.
deal too, but cheaper ain't always better. You're paying for how long this person has been in the game and how quick they can give you progress in the most healthy way and truly what they're doing. I'm not trying to sit here and be like, oh, this is a free deal. You can train with me for $1 a week. And I'm past that.
Yeah.
I'm already 10 years. I've already grew my foundation. I have a foundation now. So yeah, it was just one of those things. I was like, wow. And then there was another one that was in the same gym as me and had my girls were training upstairs doing cardio and had the audacity to be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And they told me. And I was like, I never confronted. I was this close. But you know what? We're still in the same vicinity. I'm going to let you be. But I would never, ever do that behind closed doors to any trainer in town. I didn't get where I got stepping on people's toes. You can.
Bad business.
It's bad business. And it makes you look like a very shady person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's happened to just guys in town. It's not even girls. It's not even girls. So that's the craziest part. But yeah, that's a good question. I want to know who the guy you're talking about is.
I think I know.
It might be the same person.
I think I do.
Mm-hmm.
So, since even being in business too, have you ever partnered up with other trainers to do some of those big classes that you kind of do? Or do you just have them come and help sometimes?
So when I did my big host party, the ones at Riverwalk or the Sportsplex that I do my big events at, it's my SFA girls that help me coordinate the program. So it's the girls that are on my team already.
Okay, nice.
And let's say we have 100 people, we'll split two sides. Let's say 4 girls are with me, 5 girls are with me, and 4 or 5 girls are in the other side. I don't think I've really collabed on a training program since the very beginning of my training. And that was just for both of us just to do it together as fun. But it's very rare that I've kind of like partnered up and done like a training thing together, like a big group class.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And is that just something you just kind of didn't see, like, okay, I'm not going to do that just because you have a certain way you run your business and you don't want to have someone else having a 2 cents?
I'm very open to like, other trainers in town, right?
Yeah.
But operating a program or train class, I just feel like I'm in this part of my life that I think I can run it efficiently and well, that I'd rather do it by myself. Let me ask you this. When you run your own business, let's say you run your own business, your car thing, it's easier to have an owner and then other people that help, right? Because if there's too many people talking, it starts getting confusing. Then you start, and then it starts being a little messy. Then it's like that power control of people. Right. I don't have that power control, but I feel like and at that point, I'm just like, okay, let's just do what you do. Because I don't even want to, like, let's just do, if you want to do it, you run it, I'll help you.
Yeah.
But I think with business, the least, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because more people, more opinions.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they always say, don't partner up with one of your friends in business, because somehow, some way, and not all the time, but for the most part, the relationship, the friendship will fall apart because of so many different opinions.
And they have different mindsets
Different mindsets. So I feel like that's...
Yeah, that makes sense. I was just curious what your thoughts were on that.
I like shut down to the idea.
Yeah.
Like if somebody came to me and was like, hey, like, are you open to do a collab? I would ask them what their insight and what their suggestions are. And then if it like makes sense to me, then I'd be like, okay, let's do it. And if it didn't, then I'm like, oh no, it's okay. Like, I'm not interested in doing it, but thank you for thinking about me. Right. Yeah. It's just one of those things that's not personal. I never take things personal when it comes to that. It's just business. And like, not all business is good business.
Yeah. Yeah. So, agree on that.
Yeah.
And then as far as mindset, we talked a little bit about it. What are some things you kind of do for yourself to help boost your mindset each week or each month, or kind of help you continuously growing?
The gym, obviously, going to the gym. I think that is, aside from just physical, it's a big part in mental health for me. Even on the days that I don't want to go, I love to go because I know I'll feel better after. Don't get me wrong, there's workouts where I go and I'm like, okay, I'm over it. All I got is 35 minutes here and I'm going to try to zone in the best I can. But I still, like, although it's harder to push those days, it's still, like what I know it'll make me feel better eventually, right? But truthfully, it's my kids. It's my kids. I have 2 humans that I got to take care of, At the end of the day, I'm not just living my life to take care of myself. I'm setting an example for them, and I got to make sure that they're good, again, without me. When on the days when they grow up and I'm not there, I hope I raise them well enough for them to be good kids that grow into great adults. That's truly, I will say, my kids. 1,000%.
When your kids were born, did you feel like you took your business to like another level? Like you pushed even harder than before?
I want to say, because I have my kids they were back to back. One's 6, one's 5 right now. They're born on the same month, just different years. Wow. Literally. So one's February 7th, one's February 11th. I think for the 2-3 years that I was pregnant and going through postpartum and stuff, I want to say, not that I took a step back from it. I just was doing what I could to run a business efficiently while being a mother. Mm-hmm. Right? So I want to say those years, not that I slowed down. I still was like busy, but I think I was trying to figure out the perfect happy medium to becoming a brand new mom and running my business still efficiently. But then I put myself under, after like they were like, one was 2, one was 1. That was when I started my clothing line. I was like, okay, stress is over. Let's do another stress. Let's add on another thing to my plate. And I work, and it sucks to say, but I work better under pressure. I work better with more stress. So once I feel like everything's starting to calm down, I'm like, okay, let's add something else to my plate, right? And I think that was when I started the 2 and 1, or 2.5 and 1.5. I don't remember the exact date, but that was when I was like, okay, let's add something else. Like, let's go. And then after that, I was like, okay, let's let's go.
I
Like,
think everybody that has a business mindset, you need that to keep growing, because
pressure.
yeah, pressure. Because I'm kind of the same. I work better under pressure.
Yeah, if you give me like 20 things I need to do in 1 week, I'm going to get it done. But if you give me like one thing every single week, I'm gonna like literally, this is how I was in school too. I procrastinate till the very end because I only got one thing to do. I can do that the night before.
Too easy.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'll just like be lazier. You get what I'm saying? Versus, that's just me though. Like my mom hated that about me, and I'm like, I'll get it done still. Don't worry about me getting it done. I remember I had an assignment for college, and I had an essay due, and like my sister comes in, she was like, can you take me to go? She was so young. She's 9 years younger than me, and I was in college, so she had to be like 9. And I remember her coming in to bug me and be like, can you take me to go eat? And I was like, girl, not right now. Not right now. I got an assignment due. And she's like, when? I was like, in 3 hours. I got an assignment due in 3 hours. I need to get it done. But yeah, I work better under pressure. It's always been like that, but it sucks to say, but I procrastinate if I only got one thing to do. One or two things, I'm like, oh, this is boring. Like, I'll do this last minute. Just how I work, But you do what works for you.
Exactly. And then as far as like new trainers coming into the industry, what would be like one piece of advice you would give to those new trainers?
One piece of advice. Create a plan and execute the plan. You have to make sure that you have a plan, like to execute from point A to point C. If there's no planning, if there's no goals each week, each month, each year, you're not going to progress. I would say that's like a big thing because you can either, my mindset is like you can either accomplish that in 6 months and give it your all, 100%, or you can give it 20% and half-ass it, and that'll take you years to finish. Right?
Yeah.
And even when I was in college, that was another thing. Like, I was so determined to finish college in 4 years. I didn't care what I needed to do. I wanted to get, like, I think for me, it was timelines. I like to have timelines. I've always been like that. I was like, okay. And when I started college, I was like, okay, I need to graduate in 4 years. So I graduated when I was 21. Okay, 21. My next thing was like, my next goal is to buy my own luxury vehicle within the next year. Got my luxury vehicle within the next year.
Bam.
Next, in about 4 or 5 years, I want to buy my own house. So by 25, I was pregnant and bought my own house at 25.
Hustling.
Right? So it was just like those things. You have to have a timeline.
Yeah.
You have to have, if you don't have a timeline, then you're going to think you have infinite time. It doesn't work like that.
So you don't push yourself
for
as
some
much.
people, it might be fine for them. But for me, I work on timelines. That's how I do the best. I think having a plan and executing it, having a timeline is the best advice, in my opinion. Because you can't just think that you do have infinite time, but why get it done in 5 years if I can get it done in 6 months?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm big on time. Don't waste my time. I got time. I got things to do. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say that.
And as far as the business goes, what is one of the biggest lessons you've learned from running your own business the last 10, 11 years?
Biggest lesson, that's kind of hard for me. Like, I feel like I didn't go through anything crazy for me to be like, oh, wow, that's a huge lesson learned. I don't know. Let me get back to that. I don't even know.
The guy stepping on your toe.
No, it didn't really teach me a lesson. That's his own problem. I'm very unbothered when it comes to that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you think you can take my clients, go ahead, do it. I'll replace them too. Like, if they leave, it's enough. There's always clientele. That's the one thing I'm trying to sit here and say. Even with you guys have like a body shop, right? There's a lot of body shops in town, but people still go to you.
Right.
There's a lot of nail shops in town. There's a nail shop in every freaking corner, and they're still busy. There's a Starbucks in every single corner, and they're still busy. The whole point of this is, I think the way I operate my business is knowing that there is enough for everybody. Stop thinking that because this trainer has this, and this many clients, that you can't be successful. You can be there's so many people in Bakersfield.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like I've proven a big point that like I'm busier on year 10 than I was in year 1. So there are so many people out there to train with you. If they want to train with you, they'll train with you. If they want to train with somebody else, no hard feelings. That's okay. You know how many hairstylists there are in town?
A lot.
In the place that I go to, there's already like at least 20 girls that work in the area of hairstylists. And guess what? All of them are still, they're busy. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, no, money comes to you as long as you work hard for it and you're a good person and people see that, you know, but there's enough money to go around.
Oh, yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Because especially Bakersfield's growing, so there's more
It's
money
growing.
coming.
But your clientele is different from my clientele.
Yeah.
My clientele might be different from another girl's clientele. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People will train with you. Your business will come as long as you don't think that there's only this amount of money.
Yeah.
You think like that, then you're not making no money.
Yeah.
When you're envious in somebody else's pockets and their their clientele, you'll never win that way.
Nope.
You never
I've seen
win
it.
that way, you know? Like
Yeah.
you're so close-minded and you think that the only reason why you're unsuccessful is because somebody else. No, you're unsuccessful because of yourself.
Yourself.
Yep.
You're the only reason why you are not making the money that you're making. You're the only reason why your business is not growing. It's not the other trainer. It's not the other competitor. I use that word very loosely because when you're just focused on yourself and your own lane, you're not worried about the outside.
There's no competition.
And for 10,
stay in
11
your
years,
lane.
you stay in your lane.
Yeah.
I'm cool with everybody as long as we're nice to each other and we respect each other. Money's there. Money will be
Yeah.
there.
I think that's one thing. People look at the money and they're just like, oh, I need this.
And they're envious of somebody else because they think that they're taking their business away.
Yeah, which is not true at all. It's like,
There's so much money out
hundreds of
there.
thousands of
Look at
people out
LA.
there.
There's more people in LA than Bakersfield, right? And look how many trainers there are in town. And they're probably successful just as much as the other one. Because the business, there's so many people out there to get help, especially for training. Like there's a lot of overweight people. There's a lot of people that don't care about their fitness. And there's some people that like start a little bit too late, right? And they are jumping like the gun to like get started now. That is, I feel like our field of work is always going to be busy.
yeah,
Because a lot of people fail to be disciplined when it comes to their health, which is the craziest thing. Like you would
really
think
is.
that as we grow older, that you would be a little bit more like you would emphasize on the importance of your health, right? But a lot of people emphasize on the importance of their health way too late.
yep,
So I feel that in the fields that we're in, there's always going to be business. So there's always going to be people that need that structure and help because that's what they're paying for. Not just the training. They're paying for the help and the structure and the accountability that you're giving them.
yep.
Right? So, yeah.
And the psychologists that we are.
I know, right? Oh my God. Don't you get me started on that. Oh my gosh.
I always tell my clients I'm a trainer and I'm a psychologist.
Oh my gosh, me too. I diagnose everybody. I'm like, oh, this.
So I got to talk to this person. I better make sure I ask him how his day's going because that's going to dictate the workout and kind of learn how to talk to your clients to help them. Sometimes even get out of their own head or just give them another ear for them to just spill whatever they want.
And that goes back to how you were saying that so many different clients that you train with, there's so many personalities, right?
Yeah.
And you really have to adapt to their personality and just learning different ways to get to them, right? Because one method might work for one and then the other might not work as well.
Yeah.
So I think just being in this industry and working with so many different people, you got to learn.
You learn all the hats.
You got to learn quick
put on
too.
today.
Yeah, you got to learn very quick when it comes to business and working with a lot of people. Because you have to adapt to the
day to day almost.
Yeah, really.
Sometimes people have a bad day and then they come in and you can kind of tell. So then I try and just make them laugh and like get them not thinking about what just
You know
may
what?
have
I will
happened.
say this. Thankfully, when my clients come to me, no matter what they go through that week or that day, when they come to me for my classes, they always say like that's therapy for them.
Yeah.
They come out of class and they feel so much better. Like
Yep.
they're like, wow, I'm like, let's say they're a stay-at-home mom of 5, and that's the only 1 hour they get to take care of themselves and like forget about everything. They always leave and they're like, wow, I feel so much better. Now I can go back home and be a mom and be in a better mood.
Yeah.
It's true though. Like I really, and sometimes I could see it in their moods, but most of the time, once they start training,
It goes away.
it goes away instantly, and it's like great to see that and be a part of that.
Yeah.
Like that's so special to me.
You can see them starting to feel better, smiling, and then they leave like
Even their husbands. Even the husband's like, oh, wow, she's in a better mood. Oh, she's starting, like, it really does. I always say this. Moms are the foundations of a home.
Oh, yeah.
Your wife, your girl, your whatever, your mom. Let's say you were living with your mom. If she's good mentally, she feels good about herself, everything else runs smoothly. But when she's stressed,
chaos.
when there's chaos, then you can see your household fall apart, right?
Yeah.
But when your mom is good, when your wife is good, the household is taken care of in a more smooth way. The kids can feel it. The kids can see it. The husbands for sure can feel it. Yeah. They're like, "Oh, my wife's in a better mood today," versus a husband being like, "Oh shit, I'll stay away from her. You know, she's on edge today." But women are never on edge unless they're triggered by something else, right? Yeah. So, yeah.
Nice. So we'll go ahead and start wrapping up the podcast. To wrap it up, go ahead and let the audience know a piece of advice when it comes to fitness or life or business or all three.
And advice? Another advice?
Yeah. For your general audience.
Let me think about this. I will say, whatever you're passionate in, you stick to that, and that was a big advice. Let me go back when I was in college, and I had a professor. His class was the hardest class I've ever taken. That was a class I actually put my mind and soul in, and I still got a D+. Oh my God, embarrassing. I was like, okay, well, I have to make sure other grades in that semester was good for me to have my GPA up, because that really dropped my GPA. It was the hardest class I've ever done. And I remember him telling me, I need you to come to my office. And I was like, oh crap. But he was such a great teacher, right? It was just the material being made, like put out, was so hard for me to grasp. And it was hard. He was such a hard, like a teacher that graded to the T. Oh, like that, one of those teachers, right? And I remember I'm sitting in his office for his meeting, and he's just like, with his glasses on, typing, and he's like, okay, you know what I'm calling you in for? I'm like, yeah, because I'm doing terrible in your class, and I need this class to graduate. It was like the last semester, last quarter, because it was a quarter system. And he was like, so what's going on? I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I shouldn't be in this. I started even crying in his office. I was like, I shouldn't be here. Like, I shouldn't be in college. I hate school. He's like, I could tell. So why don't you do something that you're passionate about? Because you're going to be way more successful doing that. And I was telling him, like, I can't. My teacher, my professor was Asian as well. And he had 2 daughters, I think, going to law school or something, doctor school. I don't remember. And he was like, I understand because I am an Asian immigrant, and I want the best for my children. However, sometimes the best for your children ain't the best.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I remember him telling me this thing. And I actually want to go back to CSUB campus because it's been, 10 years since I've graduated. And he told me, like, what do you do that you really love? And at the time I told you guys I was baking, right? And I was like, I love baking. And I showed him my work. And he's like, why don't you open up a bakery? I bet you could be very successful doing it. I was like, I can't. My mom and my dad would kill me. I'm already about to graduate. I can't do that now. And he's like, it's never too late. But I guarantee you that if you did that, you'll be way more successful than what you plan on doing with this degree. And I was like, damn, that's true. That's true, and it just stuck to me. And I remember having this meeting with him. He's just like, I promise I know you're smart. Like, I know you're smart. Maybe this book smart thing isn't for you. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't dumb. Like, I still graduated with a good GPA from college, but I wasn't like my sister. My sister is a freaking genius. She's got straight A's from the second she got grades. Like, she just graduated yesterday at CSUB, and she had very great grades. And she's always been a school smart girl, right? Yeah. It's just not me. We're so different. Me and my sisters are so different. And I remember him telling me, it's just not you. It's okay. Like, let's graduate. Let's get this degree. But I know what you do. It's not going to be in this field. I'll tell you that much. And I'm like second guessing myself now. I'm like, great. I just wasted 4 years of my life. I'm about to graduate with a crim law degree and not be happy with it, for one, but not really know what I'm going to do with my the rest of my life, pretty much, because I felt like a failure. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna do so bad. Like, I was just second guessing myself. And that conversation with him really stuck to me for the rest of my life. And I would love to go to his office and tell him like my update in my life 10 years now. But yeah, I guess the biggest advice I would say, do what you're passionate with, because you'll be so successful with what you actually have love and passion for. Yeah. You'll never be successful with something that you choose that you're not happy with doing. And obviously, aside from just passion, because we're not just going to be delusional here, you still have to execute, right? Yeah. You have to have passion in what you do, but you also have to have an execution plan in order to get it done. So yeah, I would say that would be my biggest
I like that
advice.
Turn your passion to a paycheck. Yep.
Exactly. And then you'll never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
If you love what you do. And it's true, because I've been living, this is literally my dream career. Like I love, there's days when you go to work and you're like just not feeling it, but that doesn't mean you don't love your job. It's just everyday thing, right? You're doing the same routine. So it's like one of those things that it's like, you're doing the same things for over a year. Now I'm like I've been doing this for almost 11 years now. Sometimes it gets repetitive and you're like a little bored, not bored, but and then you think about it. Sometimes you're like, you sit back and you're like so grateful for in the position that you're in. And you're like, wow, there's so many people out there that don't love what they're doing. Oh, yeah. And I am so grateful that I am one of those people that can genuinely say, I love what I do. And I'm so grateful for how my life has been for the past years, Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, you've done an amazing job. Keeping a business for 10, 11 is not easy.
It's not easy. It's not easy. No, it is not.
You make it look easy, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not. Again, it's behind the scenes that people don't see. But
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your journey and story. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode. What's your story?